Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich, and welcome to a special catch-up edition of our Witchy Book Club series. We are going through Chapter 14. Had to make sure I had that right. Chapter 14 of the Inner Temple of Witchcraft. As per usual, in the description below, there will be a link for it's an Amazon link, not an affiliate. I don't think I have an affiliation with Amazon anymore. Couldn't tell you. I used to. But anyway, whether it's an affiliate link or not, it's a link to the Inner Temple of Witchcraft. Now, I do have to tell you, and I did not realize this until I started this series, that there is a 20th edition that has come out. And if I had known that before doing this, I would have probably sold this copy and gotten the updated copy. I don't know if they have an Outer Temple of Witchcraft copy coming out, a 20th edition. As you can see, mine is like pristine still. I've started to, section off chapter by chapter in here. But I will be going by the original works rather than the 20th edition because I don't want to spend the money on the new editions when the older editions, the original editions, are just fine. So, I did link Christopher Penczak to this series. Whether or not he has watched any of these videos, I don't know. But he does like the fact that, or he, hearted the fact on Twitter that somebody's doing a book study of this, or that we are doing a book study of this. So anyway, just a little brag. Eventually, we will be going through, possibly not this year, but I do want to fit it in eventually, is Devin Hunter's series. I think it's the, the Witch's Book of Spirits or Witch's Book of Power. He has a series of 3 different books, and I do want to go through those. Devin Hunter from the Modern Witch podcast and the book Modern Witch, which I do absolutely love. It is a grimoire type of setup, and I think I have it. Do I have it readily available? Where I can't remember where I stuck that. I want to say it's over there in that pile of books, but I could be myth-taken. But eventually I do want to go through his books as well, and they are actually on Audible, and at least the first one is on Audible, and I'm ready to go ahead and, hit buy that for a credit through Audible, which I do have a link for Audible where you get a free credit towards an audiobook. And if you don't like it, if you don't like Audible or you don't want to pay for Audible, you still get to keep the one book. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and hit that. I think the link still works. I think I still have an affiliation with them. Again, not sure. If you try that and I don't, let me know. Because, sorry for hitting the mic there, because I do like and enjoy Audible, and I do want to have that affiliate for you guys. Anyway, like I said in yesterday's video, things have been a little crazy this last 2 weeks. I'm going to do very minimal editing, and yeah, I'm going to try to do this Friday special for chapter 14 and the Saturday special, or the Saturday regularly scheduled for chapter 15. So yeah, chapter 15, I am going to warn you, is going to be a little bit shorter, and we'll get to that whenever I film that one or record that one. But anyway, we're in chapter 14, which is entitled, it's lesson 10, entitled The Inner Temple. Now, excuse me for bumping the mic multiple times there. I do want to Mountain Dew code red it up, hashtag not sponsored. Wish it were. Pepsi, if you want to sponsor me for drinking Mountain Dew on YouTube, you know, get at me. I will totally take that as a sponsorship there. Anyway, even if I get it as free Pepsi products and whatnot, we'll talk. Anyway, the Inner Temple is chapter 14, lesson 10, like I said. And it starts out, as we have been starting out each chapter, looking at the first sentence, or the first couple sentences in this case. And, seeing how it compares to another chapter and whatnot. And it reads, "We each have a sacred space within us that is the heart of our personal power because it is centered and grounded in our truth, our own authentic self. Here we feel comfortable being ourselves no matter what." A good starting line. Not his most powerful, but I do like it. It sets up this chapter very nicely, and this is a chapter that I am very into. I know that I have, in the past, talked about my astral plane area where I will go, and it's very similar to the setup of this inner temple. And I have done spellcraft there. I have done energy work there. I have gone there just to meditate and be centered and grounded in myself, with myself in that moment outside of space and time. So I do like this this inner temple construct. I do like it, and I find a lot of value in it. So, starting up at the top of page 260, for witches, this place is not just symbolic, but a real place to renew their sense of self and personal power. Skipping around here, this sacred temple confers a sense of centering, safety, and tranquility, often reflecting ongoing changes within the individual. Now, it can be just me, but in my own little area, my own little astral plane area, I don't really see a change in it. The stream might be flowing, like I have a stream that will flow along in the western part, of course. But it doesn't really change. It's something constant. It doesn't reflect changes in myself. It doesn't, like walls won't go up, or there is no indoor area. It is completely like a secret garden within a forest. And that is completely like, it is the same every single time. And it's more so the stability that I get from it, and the centering and the safety that he says here, the tranquility. But it doesn't reflect any ongoing changes for me. It's something that is constant, which, with things in life constantly changing, I like to have a constant touchstone of a place to go. And that's something that's important to me. So, in saying that just now to myself, I think that it may be the reason that I don't have a change in my sacred space. So, yeah, I think that might be the reason. That's also one of the reasons that you don't see things really change that often in my witchy room. Very rarely do things get placed somewhere else. My herbs and oils, and well, I don't really have oils in here. My herbs are in here in this cabinet that you guys have seen before. My incense are in a drawer over here, and that's where they go. They all have their own special spot. The rocks and whatnot could get moved, but for the most part, everything has a home. And with this being a room in my house that is sectioned off as my personal space, it is something that is constant, that things are in the same space or in the same place as they always are. And whether or not the books may change their position or whatnot, for the most part, everything has a spot where it goes and it doesn't change. So for me, yeah, I can see that both in the physical and the ethereal. He goes on to say further on down the page, connecting to this inner power and actively using it for your own betterment is the crux of the class and, in my opinion, the practice of witchcraft. Although there are many traditions, paths, and techniques, finding and affirming your own personal power and sense of the sacred is the cornerstone of all mysticism. This, to me, is very important. Finding own your own niche, your own technique, your own as other people will say, path. I call it practice because it's something that you continually practice at. However, it's interchangeable with other people's concept of a path or a path working and whatnot. For me, I just use the word practice. But like he says here, although there are many traditions, paths, and techniques, finding and affirming your own personal power and sense of the sacred is a cornerstone of all mysticism. I totally agree. If you find your own practice, your own path, whatever you want to call it, your own tradition, whether you are starting a tradition of your own with a group of friends or like-minded individuals, or you are intertwined or connected with a group of traditional Wiccans or individuals in the reclaiming tradition or something of that sort. There are many different traditions out there, and either finding your home there or constructing your own home, that's kind of hickledy-pickledy from, other paths and traditions, whether or not you have your own or whether or not you've found a home with somebody else, making it or affirming this or finding and affirming your own personal power in this, it becomes a cornerstone or a cornerstone of your mysticism. It becomes a building block of your own type of mysticism. So, in that saying, how do I want to put this? In finding Christo-Paganism or finding the broader community of Christo-Paganism, we have that cornerstone, that touchstone of sorts, where we always come to, let's say we come to something such as the rosary or something like that, that is a touchstone, or we have a commonality of Christ in that. In our Christo-Paganism, maybe we are similar, we are followers of Sophia. Maybe we are followers of of Mary, Mary the Mother, or Mary Magdalene, something of that sort. We have these commonalities, and we find our own personal power in that. So I really like how he has worded this here, because obviously, as you see, I'm struggling to word it in a different way, but I find this as a powerful point to point out that you need to find your personal power in whatever tradition or practice that you are taking up. If it's not truly working for you, or if it's not entirely working for you, change it up a bit. Make it into something that works totally for you. Now, I want to go on to page 262 in our hymnals here. About halfway down. Although you can exert control over your inner temple, this is where he's talking about the inner temple. Although you can exert control over your inner temple, it is your own sacred space after all. I find it more productive to take a look at images we are first given and understand them before changing them. Now, again, I go back to my own personal inner temple of sorts. It has not changed. I've used the same space for years. Sometimes whenever I go there, there's a cauldron and I set a fire, and maybe there are pillars that are the directional coordinates, north, east, south, west, or in my case, east, south, west, north. And like as I walk up, they just all these pillars, like the pillars go into have a flame on the top, and you know they create sacred space as I walk into it. It's very like Harry Potter-ish, but uh, like I said, mine has never really changed. Mine, whenever I walked into it, it was there, and it was what it was, and I kind of found that as a peaceful area to be in, and I've basically never changed a stinking thing. I don't dust the place at all either. It is nature after all. You don't dust nature. um, anyway, if you have a temple or a structure of some sort that you go into, maybe you do move things around. He talks in here about how when he first went into his, it was a laboratory, and then that sort of morphed into different things where he now has, I believe it was a cauldron that has a reflecting like a silvery substance. I do believe I read this yesterday, and I do know that he says something like that, but he basically gets this energy out of there and forms whatever he needs. Maybe yours is like that. If it is, let me know by leaving a comment below, because I want to know who has these other experiences. I don't necessarily have this experience, but whenever I am in that space, it's like the energy just kind of manifests, and I can easily, or more easily, do energy work. It's like, I walk into the space, everything lights up, and it's middle of the night, because that's when witchy stuff happens. But I walk into there, and it's also like all overgrown, so whether it was day or night, it doesn't matter. But I walk into the space, it's all overgrown and just forest, and these four pillars light up, creating the sacred space. And I walk in and say I need let's pick an herb, mandrake or something. Like, let's what's the one I really like to work with? Mugwort. I do like some mugwort, but say I need a mugwort, all of a sudden, there, mugwort in my hands. It's like, it just appears. Or maybe on the center altar, because in mine there is a center altar. I don't know exactly how that works with having a fire, but it somehow works. So maybe that's one thing that's changed in mine that I never really thought of until now. Sometimes there's a center altar, sometimes there's not, which I never thought about until now. Whatever I need is there. So if I need mugwort, it's boom, right there on a working space for me. And he talks about this. So in my experience, I don't need any changing in there. But yeah, if yours changes, let me know, because that is not my experience personally. But also kinda, I guess. You see my power of observation here. Whenever I'm going into a sacred space and things are there that I need, I don't pay attention to what's different. So, anyway, moving on to 263. Go with your first impression, and don't get too attached to any idea of your sacred space. Even though all temples are individual and distinct, there seem to be some commonalities. The following are tools and locations that are useful for your own personal development, giving access to new energies, guidance, and meditation paths. Okay, I want to touch on the first sentence that I read there. Um, go with your first impression and don't get too attached to any one idea or, of your sacred space. Okay, so you know, I can't say this is my experience. I am very attached to my sacred space. I love this space. If it were to change, I don't know if I would like it. I am very much in love with this overgrown forest feel. It like I said, it's kind of like the secret garden in a way. I love it. You just walk in and you have your space there. If I walked in and it was pure white, like an Apple store, and very sanitized and hospital-like, I don't think I would really enjoy it. So I think somewhere in there is the subconscious knowing that, I need that kind of space in order to wrap my head around using this space for its intended purpose. So I would totally agree with him that if you are just starting out with your little inner temple, your inner sacred space, to definitely do what he's suggesting here, and I totally back that. As for me, mine is pretty well set, and it's worked for me for years. And I would be kind of on edge if anybody went in there and messed with it. So don't go to my sacred space; it's mine. Anyway, we're gonna we're gonna move on here. I do want to touch on the things the commonalities that he said here. Center. Center refers to the center of the temple, a place that represents the center of the self and easily lends to all areas of the temple. Again, my temple is relatively small. It doesn't have like a lot of elaborate parts to it. But then again, I usually go there and I am doing stuff right at the altar area space. I'm not really venturing out. So, excuse me. Center is basically where I do everything anyway. And then he talks about a reflective surface. A reflective surface is used to look at your spiritual self, to take stock of the changes going on within you. I have a little pool of water, like a little stream and whatnot. And if I wanted to take a bowl and use it as a reflecting surface, and he does talk about this next, then I would use that. Some source, which is place of water. Some source of water is found in the temple, like a wishing well, pool, stream, waterfall, river, lake, or seacoast. And then place of earth. He says, this is a place of grounding to help you find your way when feeling lost or ungrounded. To me, the place of grounding is always at the center, always in the middle of all of the elemental positions. And he also does talk in here about the place of fire and the place of air, and the representations of air and fire. In this, we have water and earth, obviously, and center. And then he has in here at 265 rooms of play. Now, I do not have one of these because my sacred space is a space of, this is where sacred stuff happens. And while having things that just bring joy to your life is very, very much a thing that should be had within a sacred space, for me, not in that, not in the astral plane. I think I've shown, whoops, I think I've shown you guys this before, and I'm not editing out that things are falling. And I think I just kind of broke them, but yeah, I have this little guy in my witchy room, and I absolutely love him. But yeah, and it says, "Hi, have a bright and shiny good day." And yeah, I think his head kind of fell off. But yeah, I have him in here, and he just brings me loads of joy. And I just like sitting there and, you know, bobbing him up and down. It brings me like 15 minutes of fun right there. Anyway, certain things like that in a sacred space, in a physical sacred space, I am totally behind. It is something that I totally do have in my physical sacred space. Never thought to have it in my ethereal or in my astral sacred space. I have my Victorian hair art over here, along with some up there. I have my guitar in here that my uncle in a poster that my uncle gave me. I have some, aesthetically pleasing things in here that just bring me joy. And I'm not discounting that one bit. If your sacred space, your astral space, your inner temple of sorts, if you need to have something in there that just brings a smile to your face, or is a place to just have fun. Maybe you like swimming in a ball pit, but people look at you weird whenever you go to Chuck E. Cheese by yourself. Um, Stuff like that. Maybe you love a ball pit. Well, in your inner temple, you can have a room that is an entire ball pit and just go to town. Nobody's stopping you. For me, that is a place where, shit needs to get done. And rooms of play do not really have a space in my inner temple. And then he talks about gates of consciousness. And he says, the gates of consciousness represent different energies and levels of awareness that we experience. Here are a few different interpretations of the gates. The following system uses 12 gates. Now, I want to talk about the gateways. Because I am sort of a fan of the TV show Stargate SG-1. Yes, I kind of do enjoy watching that. I used to watch it whenever it first came out. I have not watched through all of them. I do know that they are on Netflix. I'm pretty sure that SG-1 is all on Netflix, and I really do want to watch them. My boyfriend had them on playing on the TV as background noise, and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, put on some SG-1. I want to watch this. I'm into this this episode. Like, it took me back to those times whenever I was a teenager, and they would have them on. I think it was like UPN or WB or something like that. Whenever I was watching them. But I would totally like tune into this, and I'd be like, this is fascinating. I want to know more of this world that they're creating. And he does mention gateways themselves can manifest as doors, curtains, holes, and caves, or as science fiction like star portals, like in the movie Stargate. And whenever he was talking about gateways, that was originally what I thought was, the Stargate opening and the, all that thing. If you've ever watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sorry for hitting the mic. But that is immediately what I thought of whenever he's talking about gates. And yeah, I'm totally like surprised that, we were on the same wavelength there. Because oddly enough, we were just watching Stargate SG-1 on the TV in the living room as background noise. And yeah, I kind of fanboyed out for like, a week, 2 weeks, whenever my boyfriend had an interest in watching that. And then he lost interest, turned it off, and I'm like, hey, where's my Stargate SG-1? Anyway, we're going to get past that. But he talks about different gateways. He talks about, what you call it here, going through these different gateways for guidance, creativity, learning, memories, purpose. Healing, peace, transformation. And I'm not going to read each one of these, in depth. Journey, ancestors, harmony, and dreams. So, I mean, you can go into these different doorways, these different gateways, and access different parts to delve deeper into. Now, then he has exercise 31, which I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to do because I know my inner temple. It definitely exists for me already at this time. It is a place that I have gone to very often and I very much enjoy. And I would definitely suggest, if you have never done this before, to totally do it. It is worth it. Set up your inner temple, and it will provide what you need. In my experience, it will provide anything that you need for your practice. And this is one reason that I would suggest that if you're just starting out, if you have never practiced anything before, if you don't have tools to, go out, get this book, and at very least go through the inner temple exercises to set up that inner temple. You can do your entire spellcraft in that space. Is it fun to have all of the things and to do all of the things with the things and to buy the things and have the things and have the to have the wand in your hand? Is it fun? Absolutely. Is it needed? Not at all. But in your astral plane or in your inner temple, you walk up. Your wand may not look like this. It may be a Harry Potter type wand. It may be the Elder Wand. It may be a crooked little stick. It could be a staff instead of a wand. And working with that before you go out to purchase anything or before you go out to make anything like that, you might even get the sense of what you are looking for in your working tools. So maybe, the chalice that you have in the inner temple is glass, like mine is, which you can't see. It's back there. Maybe it's glass. Maybe it's silver. Maybe it's pewter. Who knows? It may be just a regular mug, which I don't have a mug here. Props department didn't do their job. Jelly. But, maybe it's just a regular mug, and that's all that you need. And going through this and doing this type of work, if you are just starting out, I would suggest doing this, because you might find that you don't need a wand that has chakra points on it. Instead, you need a wand that's kind of crooked and has a little, detailing to it or something like that. For instance. So yeah, maybe that's something that you discover there, is that the tools that you have in the inner temple are the tools that you are wanting to look for in the physical. So if you're just starting out, I do suggest, especially if you don't have any tools and you are low on budgets, to do these exercises, to do the inner temple working, to find out what you need, if you need any of that at all. Then we have some new assignments. We have a new assignment. Exercise 31. Complete and record your experiences in your Book of Shadows. Okay, like I said, not doing that. And I didn't go back to chapter 13 to review the lessons and whatnot. Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. And then continue assignments, daily journal. I have not been writing daily. It has been a challenge, just sitting down to journal for me. It just, even having the slowdown of life. Again, last week, I had an accident on Monday, worked Tuesday and Wednesday, found out that my car was totaled on Thursday. Spent Thursday and Friday. Was it Thursday and Friday? No. Yeah. No. It was accident Monday, worked Tuesday and Wednesday, was off Thursday, look found out that my car was deemed totaled and looking for a new car. And then Friday and Saturday I was working, had off Sunday, or yeah, Friday and Saturday was working, was off Sunday. We were doing yard work. It was Easter. Um, and yeah, we got a lot of yard work done. Future posts on that. Probably in the middle of summer whenever I'm actually going to do it. But yeah, and then Monday I was at work. Tuesday I had my brakes go out on the truck. So Tuesday night went to actually get my Prius that I now have, and got back home late, which is why I didn't do Wednesday's video, or one of the reasons I didn't do Wednesday's video. And then today is Thursday when I'm filming this. So yeah, it's been a constant one thing after another. Plus things are going on at work, which I'm not at liberty to discuss right now. Give me some time on that. So yeah, it's been a time for me this last 2 weeks, and also on Monday found out that my aunt passed away. That went to hospice that I told you guys about in Saturday's video. So yes, lots of crap happened within the last 2 weeks. That is just one thing after another, and I am surprised that I'm as balanced in handling things as well as I am. There is a lot of money going out, and I saved up. I've been saving excruciatingly this last year for some reasons that I'll get into in the future. But yeah, some of the expenses this week, in particular, my car, and now my truck that's getting fixed, costing about $900. Yeah, that's taking a lot out of my security. So I'm going back to having to do some root working for stability and whatnot, and working on those issues. But haven't done a lot of journaling. Have not done a lot of dream journaling. I have had some memorable dreams, and whenever I have a situation at work where I can pull out my journal and be like, okay, this is what's happening, I have put into that journal my dreams. But I haven't had a lot of dreams lately to actually journal. But it is something that I'm keeping myself open to, and trying to practice a little bit more at, which is something that the slow build up for me is something that I need to do, rather than the shock and awe, everything has to happen at once type of thing. To me, it's something that has to slowly build into something. Anyway, moving on, we have focus on regular meditation practice at least 3 times a week, if not daily. I do meditate, usually at going to bed, like I've said before. Using intuition, instant magic, neutralization, light, and aura reading in your daily life. Not all of it. Intuition and instant magic, uh, I have been doing. So, and I will continue to do. Instant magic, little bit at a time here. And then we have tips. So, let's see. Make the inner temple and contacting your spirit guides a regular part of your practice. Use it as a launch pad to discover yourself and your personal power. Use it to heal and renew yourself. Continue to build a relationship with your guides, calling on them as needed during meditation, magic, and other day-to-day situations. Okay. Then he has, you can visit your inner temple anytime. Close your eyes, take 5 quick centering and relaxing breaths, and imagine you are there. Go there to relax and refresh yourself. I do this still. I love that. Totally behind him putting that in there. Now, the next one is enjoy your experience. Learn to love the journey and do not necessarily focus on the goals. You have everything you need with you all the time. As your perceptions deepen, your experiences will come with more clarity. I'm getting tongue-tied. Then he says, as difficult as it may be to hear, sometimes we are not ready to have experiences we want. Our ego may want what the body and the spirit are not ready to experience. Such experiences often depend on our emotional, mental, and physical health, and our energy level, discipline, and willingness to release our attachment and truly listen. Practice quieting the mind, relaxing yet remaining focused, and find balance and health in your life in all areas. The previous meditations and energy exercises prepare you for deeper experiences. There's an old spiritual saying stating that the fruit will fall from the tree when it's ready, not before. It needs time to ripen. This is important. And I want to stop there for a second. Because just because you want to work with a certain aspect or you want to work a certain type of spell does not mean you should. And one thing that I want to stress is that we need to take a step back instead of rushing into something. Think, meditate, and consider all the other options, opportunities, and the offshoots of our actions, our repercussions that may come. Keep those in mind whenever we are going into either a meditation practice or delving into a certain type of situation or doing spell work. These are all things that we need to consider before doing any of this. Moving on. If you practice meditation in a group, you might find that it is much easier to do things in a group rather than on your own. When in a group of like-minded people, particularly with a teacher or leader, you create a group consciousness that helps propel everyone into deeper states of awareness. This is why many people gather together in groups to practice magic. Conversely, some people thrive only when they are alone. They have more meaningful experiences in private. Everyone is different. Do what is right for you. And I cannot stress that enough. For somebody like me, I'm not exactly comfortable in a large group setting. Being in my own little witchy room, in my own inner temple witchiness is something that gives me peace. So if you're one that is a group type of person, the pandemic in and of itself may be making you go stir crazy. For me, it is, like, hey, you're telling me I have to stay indoors? And I have to stay in on my residence, on my own property and everything, and not go out into big crowds where I feel anxious and whatnot? Yes, thank you. Thank you for telling me what I always wanted to do anyway. So anyway, that was chapter 14. Let's go back to chapter 13 while I have you guys here. Let's look at the excuse me, the assignments that we have. Let's see, we have the new assignments of going through 27 through 30. Some of these I'm going to have to do as different videos, like the pendulum. And I could never I don't like the muscle testing one. That just seems like I would skew the results too much. Automatic writing I could never get the hang of. Excuse me. And I've tried it before, several times. Clear audience, yeah, okay, I will try that one. I have not had a lot of time to sit down and meditate and do, uh, like I said, these past 2 weeks. And then he has build a relationship with your guides before you meditate. Have not done that. I will be quite honest with you. I have not done it, and I feel bad. Um, Continuing assignments. I already talked about journal entries, dream journal, meditation, honor and recognizing your intuition, all that stuff. Excuse me. I am so sorry about that. But yeah, many of the continuing assignments, those are things that I either do on a regular basis or might not do, but will strive to do more of. Yeah, I have not built a relationship with my guides, and that's something that I need to change. That has come up. So anyway, that was chapter 14 of the Inner Temple of Witchcraft. If you do not have your copy, as per usual, in the description box below, go ahead and get your copy. It is an Amazon link. I do stress to try, if at all possible, to get your copies from a local bookstore or a witchy shop. You can also try eBay or through Christopher Penzak's own site. I don't have the link to his own site. I do believe it is innertempleofwitchcraft.com or templeofwitchcraft.com or something like that. It is easily Googleable. If you have found me on YouTube, you can Google Inner Temple of Witchcraft and find Christopher Penzak's work on his own website. So, also, I wanted to tell you guys again that this does have a 20th edition. So, if you are following along, and this is in the future when you're following along, and you notice that my book is different than yours, this is the old style. You might have the new style, and variations may be there. So, if you see variations to what I'm saying or whatnot, that may be why. So, yeah. I wish I knew that the 20th edition was coming out prior to this, but, sad, didn't. We're going to get past it. So, anyway, join me tomorrow for our regularly scheduled Witchy Book Club series for chapter 15. And, yeah. That's where I'm going to leave it. In the meantime, if you want to leave a comment, go ahead and comment below. I always love reading the comments. I have not gotten to replying to comments lately, but I am reading them all. And I do want to say, outside of the comments, I wanted to acknowledge how much support that you guys have given me last Saturday whenever you're like, hey, have a nice weekend. Come back when you're ready. And I'm sorry to hear about your car. And, I'm sorry that you're going through a hard time because, I do these and I don't always get comments and whatnot. But whenever I see people in the community taking time out of their day to wish me well, it gets me. And these are not fake tears. I'm not that good of an actor. But it did it does get to me, the support that you guys have given, and I haven't acknowledged that on in the comments yet, and I just haven't sat down to do the comment section yet. And I will probably within the next week or so go back and acknowledge past comments that have been made and whatnot. And I usually catch up all up to the to current time, and then I will go a couple weeks, maybe a month without commenting on the comments unless it's something urgent. or something that spars a longer discussion. But I do read them all the time, and I do want to say before I go into the comment section and start typing out thank yous and I appreciate you and whatnot, that I just want to say here that I do appreciate the comments that I've gotten, and thank you for leaving such kind words and whatnot. But anyway, and thank you for understanding the small break that I've had to take this past week. Saturday and Sunday and subsequently Wednesday, which wasn't really planned but kind of just had to happen. But we are back on track now, and we're just going to move that Witchy Wednesday to next week. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And we're back on track. We're going to strive forward, and yeah. As for one other last point of order here that I probably should have put at the beginning and now is going to be at the end, but it doesn't matter. It's personal either way. My aunt that passed away lived in Kentucky, and with COVID and stuff going on at work, again, I will let you guys in whenever I can. Yeah, with all that stuff going on all at once and not knowing funeral details, I will not be going to Kentucky. But if I were, I would definitely let you guys know, because, we can have a socially distanced witchy meetup, and I would totally be there for it. And I do hope to, once the pandemic is done, have small witchy meetups, especially here in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, maybe in Delaware. Delaware witches, hit me up. Let me know. I'm down there like once a month. What's up? That type of thing. As long as if you don't live in Maryland, because Maryland is a cesspool and I will not go there. Not taking that back. Not sorry. Yeah, I don't like Maryland. I hate it. But yeah, whenever I'm traveling, if I do travel to Maryland, I'll let you guys know too. But, in the future, especially after pandemic times, do let me know. Or I will let you know whenever I'm traveling somewhere. And yeah, we'll have witchy meetups and whatnot. I think that would be fun for everyone. Except for my boyfriend, which would probably be with me and does not do the whole witchy thing. Has nothing against it, just doesn't do any of it. So, anyway, until next time, I have rambled on quite long enough. Until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.